Hello everyone in oneness. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am Jessica Delmar, and in this video I want to talk a little bit more about all of these shifts that are happening. In the last couple of videos I've been talking about this internal pole shift going on energetically, how everything is coming into balance, the trilogy energy, divine masculine, divine feminine, and Christ consciousness energy, otherwise known as oneness consciousness, in order to really open up your connection to your inner divine source being. So in this video, I want to talk about what came through regarding general energy about all of these trilogy energies and the shifts that are being made. So let's start off with divine feminine energy shifts. We're not going to talk so much about what these energies were in our past, in our collective consciousness before or over the past how many years, but in this video, we're going to talk about what it's shifting into. So just keep that in mind. Everything that it's shifting into basically was everything that it was not. But for the sake of this video, we're going to focus on where we're headed. So what came through about divine feminine shifts? So divine feminine is based off of feeling. It's the heart space. And moving forward, it really is going to be a pillar of love in our society. Emotion that was very much strongly connected to divine feminine is now moving into a space where it's not necessarily linked to duality as strongly as it was in the past. For most of our experience, the way that we created was from default emotion, reaction, emotion, reaction, emotion, that would create our reality based off of all of these reactions and emotions and strong reactions and emotions. And now emotion is very strongly linked to divine feminine, but it's not going to take us on that roller coaster ride that we were on when we were in the depths of duality. What came through next was energy of creativity as sustenance. So all of these energies are creation energies. And if you think of the past, for example, now we are diving into the past, but if you think of the past, creativity was not held to as high degrees as other forms of success, such as, for example, financial success. And when this bullet point came through, it was kind of bringing me into this thought form of how there has been a pattern of the struggling artist, if you will. And so then this came through from the transformation of that struggling artist into the energy of creativity now serving as sustenance for abundance and for success, moving forward into 5D. The next thing that came through is thoughts evolving into open conversations, meaning the thoughts that we have that the divine feminine contributes to is very much linked to emotion and to diving deeper. And for a lot of people, especially if that divine feminine is suppressed, then they're not the type of person to dive into deep conversations with people or those very thoughtful conversations. And so now with the balancing of energy, it's going to bring that more out into the open. Our thoughts, we're going to be able to express our thoughts and be able to have those open, deep conversations by the expression of what we're feeling and the thoughts that we hold within. The next thing that came through is mother nurturer, that role shifts into mother as the strength of the family role. So if you think of in the family structure, the mother figure had a role. It was seen as the nurturer figure of the family. But now it's going to shift into that mother-father role are shifting and they're balancing out. So here, mother is now going to be part of the strength of the family. This is kind of also opening me up to how, family structure, how mother and father is like father goes out to work, mother stays home and takes care of the children. Same thing in the work structure, how, men usually get certain roles and a certain pay that is sometimes different from the female role. And all of these roles are shifting no matter where these roles are in terms of the male and the female. And they're balancing out so that it's going to be seen more on an equal level. The next thing that came through is energy of birthing in that very motherly, feminine space. Now opens connection as source birthing a fragment of itself. This is about that thought pattern of the birthing process. Birthing is not just birthing a child. There's a deeper connection that goes into the act of birthing that a mother has in that process. This may not necessarily be on the conscious level, but it's now going deeper into the unconscious, energetic realm of the birthing process. So now the mother, standing in her role as strength of the family, now opens the energy of source creator within, because everyone's opening that source creator within. And in that process of birthing, you are source birthing a fragment of yourself. The next thing that came through is energy of sacrifice is not handed down to children. So this goes into the whole ancestral line, lineage, family, bloodline, how things have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. That's no longer happening because the vibration that you're holding as a birthing mother shifts and changes. In the past, a lot of people were holding a lot of the blockages in those lower chakras, which was then passed down to the child and so on and so forth. But now all of that's clear. The past is clear, and we're moving forward with a new slate, a new blank canvas. And so it just kind of showed me how for the mother figure, it must have been a very strong energy in the collective consciousness, the energy of sacrifice, as a parent sacrificing for your children. And that energy thought pattern is cleared, it's cleansed. It was a very, very strong program and pattern in those lower chakras especially that created a lot of the blockage in the lineage and the ancestral lineage, a lot of lower vibrations without even realizing it. Even the energy of sacrifice with good intentions still has energy of something of attachment somewhere in that energy of sacrifice. There's still energy that's not lifted high. It's not light energy. It's very heavy energy in terms of sacrifice, whether it's with good intention or not. It's still a very heavy energy regardless. But that's all being cleared, and it's not being handed down to children anymore, as well as any other lower vibrational patterns or programs within the lineage or bloodline that has been handed down. All of that is being cleared. The next thing is connecting strongly to feeling. Again, that divine feminine, very strongly connected to feeling, now shifts as connecting very strongly to source. This goes into your connection to that inner compass, the inner guidance that you have, the vibrational guidance that you have. In your ability to connect to the source within, you have the ability to connect to a conversation between you and source and how you're creating your reality. And that very much stems in the physical body as that vibrational guidance system based upon your emotions and the vibration that you're holding. So the feelings that used to be in duality, something that may have hindered you, now is empowering you, because your conversation with your emotions and what you're feeling in your vibration is going to be a conversation between you and how connected you are with your inner source. And it's going to help you navigate your connection and your alignment to the source within. Creation and destruction are held tightly in the divine feminine energy. Again, all of these trilogy energies are creation energies, and in the energy of creation is both creation and destruction. They are the same energy, just two sides of the same stick. The divine feminine energy, again, very strongly tied to the heart. So stepping forward into oneness consciousness is the opening of the heart, and it's going to be balanced by the opening of the mind. So an open heart and a closed mind is not balanced energy in the body. So now we're opening both the heart and the mind. And that steps us into the next shift, the divine masculine shifts going on. Divine Masculine is based off of stability. That's sort of the energy of Divine Masculine, is stability. It is a pillar of strength in society. Divine Feminine, again, was based off of feeling, a pillar of love in society. However, our interpretation of strength and stability shifts from what it was into what it now is moving into in that oneness consciousness realm. Strength is not linked to power or success as it was in the past. Instead, the energy of strength opens up in so many other aspects. Divine Masculine is also very strongly tied to the energy of knowledge. And just like Divine Feminine was the energy of creativity, now shifting in terms of sustenance, it's no longer really about the financial status and power and all of that as sustenance. But Divine Feminine shifts as energy of creativity now serves as sustenance for an individual. And for Divine Masculine, the energy of knowledge serves as sustenance. But knowledge now coming from that deeper connection to the source within, your knowledge of the greater aspects of you that are held in your living library, that are filtered through you in your connection to the source within. Thoughts evolving into open ideas and gathering of like-minded souls to create solutions for society and communities. This is kind of part of that energy of knowledge serving as sustenance moving forward, because the thoughts in the mind are now going to be, for example, like in the Divine Feminine shifts, the thoughts now serve as a way for open conversations and to dive deep with other people. With those Divine Masculine shifts, the thoughts now serve as a way and a platform to open new ideas and to help gather like-minded souls to now create and birth solutions for society and communities. The father role also shifting, like we were talking about with that mother role. The father role was that provider role in the family structure. And it's now shifting into a new role that's very similar to the mother role, again balancing that family structure out, where father is now the strength of the family as well as the mother being the strength of the family as well. Both of them take on that role as being the strength of the family. What came through next is seeding, which is the birthing process, the mating process, seeding from the male side of things as source co-creating with another. So for Divine Feminine, we focused on the birthing process as that mother source being birthing a fragment of herself. But on the father's side, his contribution to that birthing process is activated during the seeding process. So when that seeding process takes place, it's not just, the act of two people coming together, but there's a much deeper connection going on an energetic soul level. It is one source creator coming together with another source creator and co-creating another source creator, a reflection of the two source creators who came together to co-create and birth another source creator in their image. And this not only applies to that male and female coming together to co-create, but it's energy. Everything is energy. And because we're moving into that more balanced state of energy where each person holds a balanced masculine and feminine energy within, then it simply opens up into source creators in the fullness and wholeness as source, being you, coming together with the fullness and wholeness of another source creator, being a partner, and then birthing that reflection of the two of you, a child. What's coming through right now is because of the strong split of duality in that masculine and feminine split, in our perception, we saw that split as male and female. And so the male and female needed to come together to create that reflection of source. But because we're all moving into the wholeness of who we are, which is that balance, both masculine and feminine within, then it's not almost like it's not as necessary for us in our perception to view that this co-creation can only take place between a male and a female. That no longer really applies, because then that kind of opens up into that perception and the lens of seeing the split between the feminine and the masculine, and how that's the only way for the birthing process to create that reflection of source. But now, because we're moving into wholeness and oneness within ourselves as individuals, then the way that you come together with another source creator being is going to be completely up to you in the way that you perceive a co-creation process. And this is definitely being applied to the birthing of a child, but it can also apply to the birthing of anything else, meaning the birthing of a manifestation of a project or whatever in your creation or your co-creation with another individual, and sharing that energy exchange to birth something new, whether it's a project, a business, anything else that you are working on that you're co-creating with other people. It's just purely energy now that we're working with. It's not the split of energy where we need to have two sides of a whole to come together and birth something. You can birth something with that wholeness within, and you coming together with someone else who has the wholeness within, and a birthing can happen, an expansion can happen through your intentions of how you want to co-create with another being, another source being. Energy of sacrifice is not handed down to children from the father and the mother's side. It is the end of power based upon duality. Opening of strength, success, and power is based upon a view of working together. So this goes into the shifting of what we would consider success and power, from what was into what is now it's moving into. So power before was very, very much based upon duality. We're now ending all of that and stepping into power being more of a result, I want to say, of people working together. Strength, success, and power is now seen not because someone is financially successful, not because someone has power and celebrity status, but it's now showing me a new lens, a new viewpoint, as if people are working together and co-creating and coming up with new solutions for society and communities, if there's a greater wholeness that's taking place through everyone working together, that to us in 5D is strength. That to us in 5D is success. That to us in 5D is power. And so yes, that can be manifested as an individual manifesting success and money and whatnot, tools for abundance, but it's going to be because there was a co-creation involved with others working towards a common goal, not because one person was being greedy in creating that success and power and abundance for themselves. Creation and destruction are held tightly as well in the divine masculine energy. Same thing with divine feminine. Creation energies, same thing. Creation and destruction, two sides of the same stick. Divine masculine is the mind. In stepping into New Earth and 5D and oneness consciousness, we're opening the mind, which balances the opening of the heart in 5D. And so now we've got a balanced heart and mind if they're both open. And this goes for both men and women. Divine feminine and divine masculine, as well as oneness consciousness, is held within every single person. And all of these shifts are happening within every single person. It's just that, we're talking about some aspects of the divine feminine that specifically link to the female process, such as the birthing process. And when we speak about the divine masculine, there are certain roles that are shifting specifically within the male energy. But in essence, it's affecting every single person the same way, but it's then being expressed differently if you are, for example, a male versus a female. more specifically in that birthing process, because the female goes through a different birthing process than the male does. And so the way that the energy works between the two in that specific sense has to be more tailored to the different genders specifically. But it's the same energy working through that process and how it's integrated within the female and the male. These are some other things that came through regarding the balancing of the divine masculine and divine feminine. Internal energetic pole shift opens balance between the yin and the yang, the divine masculine and the divine feminine within. This creates a balance of the energies so that they are no longer seen or felt as separate, but experienced as simply two aspects of the same creation energy. This creation energy is source energy harnessed within. So before we very much, even in talking about this in this video, divine masculine and divine feminine seen as two separate creation energies. Essentially, they are one put together. They are one creation energy that was split in two. And so we're going back into, if you want to think of that split, and going back into merging them together. That's where we're headed. We are headed back towards merging those two energies together by bringing them into balance. And this is really easily seen in that mother-father role, like we were talking about. Even those roles coming together to neutralize almost in this balanced state, where the mother-father strength role, both serving as strength for the family, is in that in the same energetic realm. It's no longer separate in terms of the roles. They are combined. They are together. They are merged. So this creation energy is essentially just source energy harnessed within. And that source energy holds both the masculine and the feminine in the body in a very, very balanced way. The balanced divine feminine and masculine come from within your ability to open oneness consciousness within. Because oneness consciousness helps open your connection to that inner source, that inner divine source being that helps to connect you to the way that you create things. It's just everything is connected. Divine masculine and divine feminine were split or divided from the wholeness in order to open physical experiences on a duality-based plane of reality. The open split or division was a crack that got bigger and bigger until there manifested two sides of a brain, which opened a split of energy in the consciousness of individuals, which then manifested in the split of energy in the consciousness of the collective. And we also speak about this split in the 7 Rays of Light video series. I'll put that link below, how it showed me like a cell dividing in two. And that single cell was that source energy creator, splitting itself in two, coming back together as the reflection of itself in that Christ consciousness energy space. And we go further into that in that 7 Rays of Light video. But basically what's going on here in what came through for this video and this message right here is that source itself had to split in two in order for those two aspects of source to then come back together to create a new point of expansion and birthing. But in that mirror or reflection of source that was birthed and created came an opening of a playground for physical experience. So then shards were created from, or soul shards were created from that aspect of that reflection of source that the divine masculine and divine feminine came together to birth. In the trickling down of energy, the breakdowns of source, the shards of source, energy just became further and further away from source. The playground got bigger, especially to have that physical, a playground for physical experience, which opened duality because the divine masculine and divine feminine were split. And that opened into the physical experience, which opened duality. So the split of the divine masculine and feminine opened up not only a split between the heart and the mind in a physical form and experience, but it created also a split between the left and the right brain in the mind. as well as what I'm realizing right now, they're showing me the left and the right sides of the heart. And then looking it up, there is a left and a right chamber. There is the left chambers and the right chambers of the heart, which kind of acts the same way in terms of the left and the right brain. The heart is also split in that left and the right chambers. So moving into that oneness consciousness comes the blending and the melding of both the left and the right sides of the brain and the left and the right sides of the chambers of the heart that merge together to come more in harmony together, so that that split of duality is not so strong. The brain is the epicenter of thought, which creates and manifests realities. And so, the manifestation of the thought of separation kept manifesting thoughts and experiences and realities of separation until down the deep rabbit hole humanity went. So basically, through the split of the brain, the further and further cracks in that duality, splitting it farther and farther apart, it just kind of just showed me how everything went downhill from there, and down the deep rabbit hole we went in terms of it's the momentum, right? We were on the momentum of the split and duality and separation, and it just got bigger. The crack got bigger and bigger and bigger. But now what came through is oneness consciousness opens a line to pull the collective into the light, which is that process of ascension. So showing me from that deep rabbit hole that we are, oneness consciousness is pulling us up out of that rabbit hole and into the light. And with it comes the realization of the split of the masculine and feminine, which contributed to many splits, the duality in your experiences. So, as oneness consciousness opens up a line to pull us out of that deep, dark rabbit hole, we begin to realize, as we make our way up and up and up those layers of that very deep hole, oh, it's almost like showing us how the duality comes back together into oneness. And as that energy happens, as the energy begins balancing out, it begins balancing out in our heart and our mind for us to realize consciously what's going on. We're no longer going to be in a place where we have the blinders on and the veil on and that we're blind to everything. It's naturally, as the energy comes into balance, those sort of blinders and veils that we've had in front of our face is going to begin lifting. Whether you're consciously doing it for yourself or not, it's going to happen. And people are going to get into those spaces of realization and quick awakening of what's going on, and opening the understanding of that separation coming back into wholeness. And that alone is going to shift so many things within people. This realization comes with the knowledge that this split of energy came from a wholeness of energy, a source of energy that in oneness is all there is and all is part of. Again, this realization of being pulled out of that deep, dark rabbit hole and having those blinders lifted from us, this is going to come with the knowledge that all of this split of energy, the duality that we've been experiencing for many, many lifetimes, we're going to understand that the split of energy essentially all comes from a single source of energy, which is the source within, a wholeness of energy, that source of energy that is oneness. It is all there is and all is a part of. Okay, so this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to break this down into two parts. This video is part 1, where we are speaking about the shifts of the divine feminine and divine masculine and the balancing out of those energies, those creation energies. In part 2, which is going to be the next video, I'm going to talk more about oneness consciousness and what it is exactly. Basically everything that we need to know about oneness consciousness at this time as we begin moving further into it and begin integrating it more and more and more as individuals harnessing the source within and as a collective of individuals co-creating with each other. So what does it mean to co-create with each other when we find the inner divine source being within, as we integrate more and more of the oneness consciousness? So that's going to come in the next video. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Together with you in oneness, I am Jessica Delmar. Oneness and love be with you.